Welcome back to another debriefing. And please excuse my voice. I've just recovered from a non hospitalized bout with the new COVID strain, which is grossly ironic because not only do I have a postgrad in virology and infectious diseases, but managed to avoid it since it began to sweep the planet, 3 years ago? Anywho, if you haven't, please take the nanosecond it takes to subscribe and like. We've almost reached that coveted 1,000 subs mark that YouTube requires to monetize a channel. So, a very, very heartfelt thank you from all of us to all of you who have subscribed. And please stay with us. We have so much more planned as part of our original mission statement once we reached monetization. A bit of housekeeping. I'll be delivering a much different debriefing later this week on a matter that I believe you, our viewers and listeners, will want to hear. So also hit that notification bell. Okay, let's get on with the show. As promised last week, hundreds of additional and much needed armored combat vehicles and other vital military equipment and supplies have been arriving at the Lithuanian port in recent days, bound for Ukraine. Most of the military vehicles are supplied by Ukraine's NATO supportive allies, Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands, which includes at least 100 older but refurbished Leopard 1 tanks, which we'll discuss here momentarily why that's important. On April 25, 2022, Dusseldorf-based Rheinmetall requested the German government deliver 88 Leopard 1A5 main battle tanks, or MBTs, to Ukraine. Then, this past February 1st, it was announced Denmark would donate 20 of the fully refurbished Leopard 1A5 tanks to Ukraine. According to a joint statement by the defense ministers of Denmark, Germany, and the Netherlands on February 7th, the three allied nations will supply Ukraine with 100 refurbished Leopard 1A5 main battle tanks from private defense company stocks, which fulfills the NATO member countries' pledge to provide as many as 140 modern main battle tanks and infantry vehicles. Meanwhile, under mounting pressure by Ukraine, several NATO members, and Western intelligence estimates on Russia, these new weapons deployments are in addition to Germany's recent announcement that it would dispatch 14 newer Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine's fighters, and the U.S.'s pledge to provide 30 of its most advanced frontline Abrams main battle tanks. It's because of the geniusness to continuously upgrade the Leopard 1A5 MBT, it has been equipped with a logistic system that's been optimized over the decades that reliably has provided its simple maintainability and a high level of availability, despite the long service life of this main battle tank. And it shows. In service in 6 countries, its proven technological improvements in target acquisition and engagement are also used in the Leopard 2 series production program. The truly extraordinary triumph of the Leopard 1A5 is directly ascribed to the combat effectiveness improvements that have kept its weapon systems synchronized with the ever-growing state-of-the-art of weapons platforms technologies. Ukraine can select from a wide range of appropriate retrofit kits to comport to the configuration of the systems it will be using that are specific to the central requisites with regard to firepower, protection, mobility, and, importantly, logistics. As a matter of background, the Formidable Leopard 1 was manufactured from the mid-1960s to the mid-1980s, and once made battle-ready again, won't reach Ukraine's front lines until at least this early summer, but possibly, just possibly, late spring. The defense ministers of Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands said in a joint statement that the additional weaponry will, quote, significantly enhance Ukraine's military potential for the restoration of their violated territorial integrity, unquote. The German Defense Ministry said Berlin has approved the export of up to 178 Leopard 1A5 tanks to Ukraine. but noted that the actual numbers sent will depend on the degree of the refurbishments of the tanks that will be required, parts, and the length of time that all of this will take. Germany concedes that it hasn't used the tanks since 2003. But as we explained at the outset, this isn't expected to be a problem. Now, as a matter of essential background, why? The Leopard 1A5 is the improved version of the Leopard 1A1 main battle tank, also made by Germany, which was the first upgraded variant of the Leopard tank to enter service in the German Army in 1971. The Leopard 1, following trials with prototype vehicles, was approved for service in 1963. The first production Leopard was turned over to the Federal German Army in September 1965. 15 years later, in 1980, at the height of the then still very tense Cold War between the Soviet Union and the West, the German military undertook a research program to scrutinize outlying enhancements viable to employ on the Leopard 1, providing, that was, that any and all enhancements were fully compatible with the fire control system at the time, as well as a fully operational night and inclement all-weather vision system. The decision was green-lighted for the designed upgrades to be made only to the earlier Leopards, which were then no longer competitive on a conventional European battlefield, which was the expected ground war that would take place between NATO and the Warsaw Pact, if those kinds of hostilities ever reached that level. The turret of the Leopard 1A5 has been modified to stow all of the new equipment and reconfigured to relocate more of its ammunition into the rear of the turret, whereas previously it was stockpiled on the left side of the driver. Additionally, the Leopard 1A5 was able to have bolt-on Lexan armor panels to be attached. This addition alone substantively amplified the effectiveness of the Leopard 1A5's armor. Now, before I sign off, I want to leave you with this. Why is all this happening? The escalations, I mean. First, it would do one thing, then the West decided it would do something else. It's because Putin's war is unquestionably destined to expand. Premised on his perverted demigod religious status, his clearly articulated goals since the collapse of the Soviet Union, which is the reunification of all land that was part of the USSR, his devil's pact with Iran, North Korea, and to unknown levels with China, and certainly with India, with whom Russia has a joint venture to manufacture nuclear-capable supersonic cruise missiles, some of which Western intelligence officials are pretty certain were on board Putin's Black Sea flagship, the Moskva, which Ukraine sank in April 2022. Additionally, India has made Russian MiG fighter planes and Su-30 jets under license, and the two have collaborated to make the BrahMos missile in India, a medium-range ramjet supersonic cruise missile that can be launched from submarine ships, airplanes, or land. It's a joint venture between the Indian Defense Research and Development Organization and a Russian Federation company, who together formed BrahMos Aerospace. Echoing the not surprisingly ever-increasing, intensifying concerns of a potentially escalating out-of-control U.S.-NATO-Russia confrontation, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned earlier this month that he fears the likelihood of further escalation in the Russian-Ukraine conflict means the world is heading toward a, quote, wider war, unquote, ominously adding that, quote, the prospects for peace keep diminishing. The chances of further escalation and bloodshed keep growing. I fear the world is not sleepwalking into a wider war. I fear it is doing so with its wise eyes wide open. I have to agree. Thank you for listening. My friends, stay well, stay safe, and stay frosty out there. Until next time.